Hello and welcome to Learn, Do, Become Radio. I'm April Perry, and today we're talking about change. If right now you are looking for some changes in your life, maybe it's in the way you're running your home, or the way you're showing up at work, or the way you may be running a business, or the way you think about your life, and you're thinking, I want things to feel lighter. I want to feel more excited. I want to feel like I can breathe and I can be who I'm meant to be, and I can find more joy every day, and I can make a difference and alleviate suffering and do something that feels really meaningful. That's where you are. Welcome. So glad you're here. Here at Learn, Do, Become, we help people who are overwhelmed by the details of life to create simple systems so they can do what matters most. Now we teach you how to build a command central, which I hope you either have one or you're thinking about building one, or stay with us if you want to. But besides the command central, there's so much more going on. I can teach you how to get organized. I can teach you how to make all your papers be in the perfect spot. I can help you organize projects. I can help you clean your house. But at the end of the day, it's really about what's going on in our minds and in our hearts. So I got a comment, came by email this morning on episode 118, where I was talking about reducing our cognitive load. And the comment said, "Thank you for the inspiration. Especially helpful for me is your question, what am I hungry for? Too often I try to run my life in response to a never-ending succession of self-generated, guilt-inducing shoulds," and shoulds is in quotes. You know, all the things I should do, ought to do, could do, need to do, must do, should have already done, etc. What a difference it makes to instead focus on my hunger, which instead brings forth passion in a positive, affirmative, life-enhancing way. Okay, that was beautifully written. I love that. And I started thinking more about that in my own life, because I am asking myself the question, what am I hungry for? And trying to create a life that responds to that. But I still fall prey to those shoulds and those, maybe I need to do this, or people probably think I need to do this. So I want to share what we've been doing behind the scenes. I've got my little paper here. You might hear it rustling for a second. And really, as I think about what I'm hungering for, I want more connection with you. I feel like I've had a lot in my heart lately, and I have this desire, I don't know, you could call it my mission, my calling, my purpose, my passion. But what I genuinely want to be, what I hunger for, is to be the friend for you that I wish I'd had years ago. As I'm thinking about being your friend, sometimes the reason I've paused is because I feel like, when you podcast, you need to make sure things are really professional. And I get a lot of comments, people telling me, things they don't like about my podcast or things I should do better. And so because I've wanted to show up well for you in a way to honor you and serve you beautifully, I've just put so much pressure on myself to make it perfect, and then I just haven't even wanted to do it. I'm sitting in my little podcast recording room. We have this little alcove that was in our house, and Eric added a door, and he got bookshelves and this really thick floor, and he got it all padded for me. And I haven't sat here for months. I've recorded a couple podcasts on my phone, but for some reason I felt so afraid to sit at this little desk and record into this microphone, because I felt like, it's too official and I need to say something that's, worth everyone's time. Anyway, I have put together some things I think will be worth your time. But my goal genuinely is to be your friend. So if you're looking for a step-by-step, super professional, fantastically produced podcast that has a whole team of people putting things together, this is not it. But if you want to hang out with a friend, and I imagine, you and I are sitting together at our kids' track meet, or we're hanging out on the front lawn, or we're at a gathering and we're just talking. That's what I hunger for. There have been so many times that I just wished I'd had a friend who got it, who had the same goals that I did, who could just sit with me and chat. And so I'm going to do my best to create that for you. Okay, so first of all, I just want to talk through some changes that we've made here at Learn, Do, Become that have helped to simplify things so I can breathe a lot better. And I think this is one of the primary reasons why I'm able to even sit here right now to record. And then I'm just going to take you in my head a little bit and show you some of the reasons why I have felt fear over a lot of things and what I'm doing to work through that. And the reason I'm sharing these things is because I'm pretty sure there are things in your life that you want and need to simplify. And I'm pretty sure there are some things that you're feeling afraid of. And so I hope if I can share my thoughts, maybe it might spark some additional thoughts for you. And then I'm going to share some fun stories that have come in because that has been amazing. We've just been reading these beautiful stories from our Steps to Everyday Productivity community. And my heart's full. I'm so impressed and so excited to tell you about those. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive in. All right, so there's 4 main things that we have simplified here. And I want to just share the story. So what had been happening is Eric and I went through this special training at the beginning of the year where we started setting goals, creating the vision, building this foundation. We had some of our team members join us and we put together this vision for the next 3 years. And we were feeling pretty excited about it. There were a lot of things we were working on, like building our YouTube channel and growing our podcast and growing Arise and our STEP program and being able to build our Facebook group. And it's so fun. We have all these different goals and things we were working towards. But what started happening is we were really complicating things. We were taking on so many goals and, raising our sights high, which felt exciting. But then when it came time to put it into practice, it just felt so complicated. And I stopped feeling excited about everything because it was just too much. So we did a simplification. We had a simplification meeting last week. And we got on Zoom with a few of our team members who were helping with the content and all the stuff going on behind the scenes. And I want to just share what we simplified and what a difference it's already made. So first of all, we simplified our processes just for content. So I'll talk about that for a moment. Usually when I record a podcast, then we do a lot of editing, maybe not a lot of editing, but sometimes there's editing involved. Then we pick an image that looks right to make as the featured image. Then we have this design company make several images that are different sizes for all the different social media needs. And we make a Pinterest image that is hidden on the page so you can't see it unless you press pin. And then we have all the show notes and we have all the links and then we upload it to YouTube and we alternate colors for the cover image. And anyway, it's like a process of all this stuff that needs to be done. So we decided we're going to make it super simple from now on. Where we have one image now that's our podcast feature image. And anytime we post a podcast on our website, it's going to have the same picture. Okay. And I'm not laughing because I think it's funny. I'm laughing because it feels so simple and so light and I feel so relieved. Okay. Then we aren't doing Pinterest at all. We're just going to pause that for a while. Even though it was fun, it's too much. And we're not putting all the podcasts on YouTube. And we're not going to write really extensive show notes. We're just going to make it simple. Because the reason why I feel like I haven't been able to show up and be your friend is because I felt like there's 80 things that we have to have done every time I sit down and record. And it just felt too hard. So we're totally simplifying our process with content. Second, we're simplifying our projects. We were looking in Asana, so asana.com, where we organize our team projects. And we have a great way to organize our current projects and in process and next in line and someday. We have a whole business optimization center where we put projects according to where they fall in the process of the customer's journey, Anyway, we had a lot of fun stuff going on. But we noticed that there were some projects that were just sitting there. And so we sat down and said, okay, let's look at these projects. Why are we not working on these? What's going on? And sometimes it was like, I'll just give you one example so you can see what we did. So we put together, our team member, Taryn, helped us put together a podcast topic directory, essentially where we have all the different topics we cover in our podcasts, and then it lists different episodes that can help. So it's almost like a podcast solution guide. So if you're thinking, oh, I want to learn how to use Asana, great, we've got podcasts on that. Or if you want to learn more about what a Step Command Central is and how to use that, awesome, we've got a section. If you want better routines, great, we've got that for you. If you want more about what we cover in Arise, now we've got a topic set up with Arise. So we have this beautiful spreadsheet that has everything organized. But we wanted to put it together and have it in a PDF, and we wanted it to look more designed. And then we were going to have like a lead box where you could put in your name and email, and we'd deliver it to you. And we'd set up this sequence in our email server that would send it to you. And we'd advertise it on social media. I don't know. We just had all these different processes. And it just was feeling overwhelming because as our team member was trying to put it into a designed PDF, it just felt too clunky. And anyway, we decided, what if we just linked the live Google Sheet to our podcast page? What if we just did that? So we're putting that onto learndobecome.com/radio. Sorry, I don't need to say / anymore. Someone's like, just say / radio. Okay, so easy, right? We're just going to put it on there. And then people can click on it and it'll be active, it'll be live, and we can keep adding to it. And there you go. There's your podcast guide. So it's something like that where we're just trying to make it so simple so it doesn't feel like, oh man, we've got to do 18 steps for this one project. We just want to serve you. So we're going to do things a little more simply. All right, third, we simplified our routines. We were putting a lot of pressure on ourselves. When you go to a conference that teaches you how to run an online platform, they'll say things like, okay, you need to be posting 3 times a day to Instagram and Facebook. You need to make sure you've got a new blog post, once a week or 3 times a week sometimes. And you need to be, posting every 6 hours on your Instagram stories. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous. And to be honest, when you do all those things, that doesn't necessarily equate to growth in a business. And so, most of the time it doesn't. So, but, okay, I will pause for a moment. They're kind of like the vanity metrics. You can make it look like you're doing a lot and make it look like you're really successful by just posting all the time. But when it really comes down to how you're serving someone and how you're changing their lives and how you're helping them move forward in areas maybe they were nervous to do it, that really has nothing to do with how often you post. That goes back to the core of a community. And for us, it's things like ads that we run, offers that we create, programs that we set up where we can serve and provide coaching. That's the core of the business that enables it to be sustainable, not just posting all the time. So what we decided is we're not going to stress out about social media. A few things a week, as we want. We want people to know we're legitimate and we're real and we're out there and we're active. But we're not going to be just posting all the time just to post. And also even with podcasting or the YouTube channel, before I'd wanted to have I want to have a weekly podcast and a weekly YouTube video, and then we're going to send them all out in the newsletter. Now we may do that, but we're only going to do it as we feel the excitement and we have something really valuable that we want to share. That's taken off so much pressure because there is a lot that has to happen behind the scenes to keep, if you have an email list, you have to keep the list warm or you just lose it. You have to delete everyone's emails out. So we do want to send emails regularly and engage and serve, but we don't have to just come up with random stuff to send out. So anyway, that's what we're doing behind the scenes here with the routines. I feel like I can breathe. It's amazing. Another routine we've simplified is we do this coaching call once a month inside our Steps to Everyday Productivity program. Jill is our coach. She's amazing. You probably have heard her on some episodes here at Learn to Become Radio, but she does a beautiful job with these coaching calls. But what our system has looked like is we've needed someone to go through and provide all these timestamps, to send out these broadcast emails with this Zoom link and then send the replay. And there's like all this email processing that's been going on behind the scenes and maybe a couple of hours of work to get everything set up. And now we're just really simplifying it by having the questions that were asked in the outline, having the recording put up there. But we set up some automation. We use Infusionsoft, so it's our customer CRM. What does that stand for? Contact resource. I don't even remember. Okay, keep going. Anyway, now I should rewind and go back. Okay, it's the customer relationship management. I had to pause. Okay. Anyway, by having that process simplified, it feels so much better. Now it should be really easy. We've put together simple steps, so we're not reinventing the wheel every month and we're not complicating things. And I'm hopeful that will feel good for our whole team here. And then fourth, we've simplified our goals. We had 5 or 6 metrics we were looking at, and each week we were calculating and looking at all these metrics. And then Eric and I were talking the other day, and we said, really, there's only one metric that really matters in our whole business. And as we looked at it, and so we're just going to focus on that one, because if that one's doing well, then all the other ones will do well, or it really wouldn't matter. Anyway, we're feeling super excited about that. So just simplifying those processes, the projects, the routines, and the goals, I'm feeling like I can breathe better. There are still some things that we're working on as far as the day-to-day, remote work and how we look at projects and what projects we're doing and how to best work together and all of that. Especially right now I'm recording and it's summer here in the United States and we have a lot happening around our home. So I'm trying to balance and use my time well and do the best I can. So hopefully, as you heard some of those ideas about how we simplified, that will be helpful to you. Now I'm just going to dive a little bit into what's been happening into my heart and why I've been feeling fear and what I'm doing about it. Essentially, if I really want to be your friend, I need to be open and I need to connect and I need to share what's happening in my life, and I need to share myself, and I need to be able to discuss the ups and the downs and just give you kind of an honest look into my life. Now, I've been afraid to share too much of myself because, number one, I'm embarrassed about some of my weaknesses, and I get called out on them a lot. When I talk about things, when I open up about things, sometimes I do get emails or people will point out my weaknesses, or I don't know, maybe people might think less of me. That's something I've been nervous about. And because I didn't want to waste your time with all of my weaknesses and I wanted to present something that's more perfect, I just thought, well, maybe it's just better for me not to open my heart because, I wouldn't be perfect. Second, I don't want to share my heart with mean people. And I've talked about this a little bit before. Man, sometimes we just get these emails from people and I don't understand sometimes why people take the time to go write an email to say something unkind to someone online. I don't know. That's not something that I take the time to do. Or I typically don't even think about doing that because if there's someone that, you don't resonate with them or they're not talking about things that are serving you or you don't really need what they have to offer at the time, that's fine. I mean, you can't listen to everyone's podcast and follow every single person online. It's just not possible. We don't have enough time for that. So we want to be following and connecting with the people who are serving us in the ways that we are most needing to be served. But sometimes there are people who I recognize are probably struggling in other areas, and maybe they just feel some sense of, power or maybe even a superiority. Like, well, if I can put someone else down, then maybe I'll feel better. And I know we all do that as humans. Sometimes when you're thinking negative thoughts about someone, it's because subconsciously it makes you feel better. I'm sure I've been guilty of that. I know I've been guilty of that. So not wanting to share my heart with mean people. I guess it's more that I feel like if there's something special I want to share, I'm hoping it's going to be received in the same spirit that I'm trying to share it. And when you just put something out online and the whole world could listen and the whole world could comment, even though the whole world's not listening and not commenting, it's really, really hard to face that. Like, for example, yesterday I just posted, the day before I'm recording right now, I just posted this new podcast and I was really excited about it. I thought it was going to be helpful. And then the first comment that came in was just saying something really mean about me and how they couldn't even listen to my podcast and how to turn it off. And, I guess I should get better at that. But I was talking with our daughter, Aaliyah, and told her about the comment that came in. And she said, Mom, I think you just need to have those messages filtered because, you're kind of an acquired listen. So she said. And she said, not everyone's maybe used to you or knows you or gets you. And so maybe just have those messages filtered. So I thought that was good. And then people can just turn me off. And then third, I just didn't want to make Learn, Do, Become about me. I want this to last beyond me. And there will come a day when I'm not here anymore. And when I read books like Jim Collins' Built to Last or Beyond Entrepreneurship, and I think about building something that's going to carry on for generations and generations, I just think it can't be about me. It needs to be about the principles. It needs to be something that can be replicable. It needs to be something that can be built upon and carried on by other people. And so I didn't want to put too much of my own personality or my own heart or even my own love into it because I just thought, because then it would die with me. But what I've decided is I want to think about the title CEO, standing for Chief Encouragement Officer. I feel the desire to encourage. I feel the desire to be here to just help remind you that there are beautiful things in your future. There are beautiful things that you can do, that there are ways to make your life feel easier. There's ways to make your home environment clean and organized consistently. And there are ways that you can set up your projects and tasks so you can create a life that you're excited to wake up and live. That's what I want for you. And I think a deep part of this just comes from having lost my mom a few years ago and having lost her to Alzheimer's, starting more than 10 years ago, that I used to call her all the time. And she was this light and she was so encouraging. And you couldn't get off the phone with her without thinking, wow, I really do have what it takes. I really do have power. I really do have talents and skills and abilities, even if other people might not see it, or even if I don't see it. She was so good at encouraging. And I want to be able to put more of that out into the world. That is my hope. So thank you for being here with me today, and I hope that these ideas on how we've been simplifying, and I hope the things that I've shared about overcoming my fears are helpful to you, and that as you just think about these ideas, that you'll be able to apply them to your life and your unique situation. I just want to close up by sharing a couple of beautiful stories from our Steps to Everyday Productivity program. We have a Facebook group and we invite people to share their wins and celebrate, ask questions. We've got coaching in there. It's so fun. And this morning we were eating breakfast and our daughter Aaliyah said, hey, you got to read this one. And so it's someone who posted and they said, I feel like tonight I had a step win. My daughter is 5 months pregnant and living with us. There'd been a lot going on where she'd been through some really hard times and was moving in and just was trying to get the room set up. She's trying to mount her TV and clean her overly packed room, as she described it. And she said she started crying because she's tired all the time and she hates looking at the mess. Okay, so I just want to pause for a moment because whether you're expecting a baby or not, when you're tired and you're looking at a mess and you're trying to move forward, you can get in that spot where you just feel like the whole world's caving in on you and you don't want to keep looking at it. Your brain feels overwhelmed because you don't even know where to start and you just feel like there's just so much all at the same time that the path out doesn't always feel clear. So I have been there, and just reading that story, I was just getting a little choked up thinking about this mother who's in the situation. And she said, I sat with her a while and we came up with a plan and some creative ways to make her room work. I could have never looked outside the box before I started STEP. I'm very grateful that I can use some of my newfound tools to help my daughter. And everyone's just commenting, this is huge. What a way to serve. I mean, it's beautiful. And I want you to be able to think about that in your life. When you get things organized, when you learn how to get your mind in order, when you learn about new resources, and you learn how to use new tools that can help you to be able to take the clutter and just turn it into clean, clear space. It's not just for you. You're now doing this for your children, your friends, your family, your neighbors. That's a skill that you now have that's alleviating a real burden. Sometimes we think, well, there's obviously professionals who do things in the medical field, or we've got emergency personnel, and we've got people out there who are helping in emergencies. And I think that's beautiful and needed and wonderful and honorable. But I don't want us to discount how honorable it is to sit by someone who's feeling overwhelmed and walk them out of that overwhelm, because that is also honorable, and that is also beautiful, and that's also life-changing. Another one, someone just posted, said, "Victory! My biggest victory is that I no longer feel like a slob or a fraud anymore." That made me smile. "I'm happy with my home and don't feel the need to change my daily living, quote, look for anyone that is coming over. And on the flip side, if someone pops by, I am satisfied with the way things look, even if I'm caught by surprise." And then she shared the story that a friend of her husband's came to visit, and she said, "I did not run around tidying because I was already satisfied with my home as it was. Things were not perfect, but for me, it's 90% improved since STEP. So I felt good about it. This was such a win for me." And then she shares a little story about her fridge. And she said, "My fridge's interior is still packed and messy, but I didn't fret about it. I was happy with my leveled up housekeeping and could happily say to myself, good enough." That just made me smile. So excited reading about these new experiences. Sometimes you don't recognize what a gift it is to be able to have a home. Someone could just knock on the door and they could come in at any time. I didn't grow up like that. I grew up totally embarrassed, would never open the door if someone came in unexpected. And for sure, they couldn't walk through the whole house, maybe the living room. There's no way we would take them into the kitchen or the upstairs or any of our rooms. Oh my goodness, never. But now, because we've got the system and routines that don't require willpower to maintain, it feels amazing. And then people are welcome to come over. We had a family, it was a good friend of ours that we knew back when Eric was going to business school. And they were in town, and I'd planned to see them at an event, but couldn't get there. And so I texted and just said, "Oh, I know you won't be in town long, sending you a little hug." Anyway, they came by, their whole family, and they knocked on the door one afternoon. And we opened the door, so excited to see them, welcomed them into the house. They could have walked into any room, anywhere in the home, gone in the bathroom, whatever they needed, and the home was fine. I mean, yeah, was it perfect? Was every speck of dust gone? Was every, streak polished? No. But the home just feels welcoming. And that changes the way you think about your relationships, and it changes the way you think about yourself. And it sets you up to be prepared to be able to step into whatever opportunity might come your way. And in this case, this is one of my dearest friends. I was so excited to see her. And I would have hated if I had said, "Oh, thanks for coming by. Let's go sit out on the front porch where it's 100 degrees or something like that." I was so glad they got to come in. We had a visit. It was just wonderful. And that's what I want for you. I want you to be in a position to welcome, to serve, to create relationships. I want you to be able to use your energy to focus on moving things forward in positive ways, becoming more mentally healthy, more financially secure, more physically healthy, being able to live your purpose, being able to connect with your higher power. isn't that where we want our energy, and not feeling down about ourselves or feeling frustrated about piles of stuff? And the thing is, I have a hard time articulating this. I don't feel like I'm a professional organizer or I'm a decluttering specialist. I don't even know what to call my role. I guess Chief Encouragement Officer. But it's not about the clutter. That's kind of what I'm trying to get to. The clutter is doable, but it's your mind and your heart going into it. It's your mind and your heart to manage it. And then it's investing in your mind and your heart once you have those things in place and those processes in place. And then life just starts feeling better. And you think, I can do good. There's a lot of good that's needed in our world today. There's a lot that's not optimal. There's a lot that could be improved in each one of our lives. But it doesn't feel as overwhelming when you're not worrying about all the stuff. All right, I'm going to close up. I am sending a huge hug. I'm sending lots of love. If you listen this far, then I'm guessing that you're my friend and I'm your friend. And I'm grateful for the chance to be here with you. Keep going. Take a nap when you need it, but keep going. There's awesome things ahead. If you're brand new, come to learndobecome.com/connect. We just put that page together and we simplified it as we were going through project simplification. There's only 5 things on it right now. Okay. So we've got our free class, How to Finally Stop Drowning in Piles. That's to help you if you're new and you think you might want to build a command central and do our STEP program. Go sign up for that free class. We have our Arise personal evaluation. Arise is our membership. It's awesome. If you want to be in there, go take the personal evaluation and get on the wait list, and we'll let you know next time it opens. Then we have our podcast, our YouTube channel, and a free Facebook group. So you can subscribe to the podcast and YouTube, and then you can request to join the free Facebook community where we're posting and having conversations, and it's all fun. It's great. And then you can be with us. All right, sending so much love. Again, that's learndobecome.com/connect. Have a wonderful day.